decoy voice, Obama is in the files. And I'm pretty sure everyone already knew this. I mean, heck, it was 8 years ago where footage of him on a boat with George Clooney having like a child in, there was a child like on George Clooney's lap. Like this stuff, everyone's known this stuff for a long period of time. No one's surprised that Obama's in the files, or that the Clintons are in the files, or that Trump's in the files, or like name a politician, name someone with money. No one's surprised. No one's surprised. But this is decoy voice. Obama is in the files.
And since Russia is clearly backing Republicans, why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right.
2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself.
Kinda hard to frame Trump's claims of Chinese interference as insane when they basically begged Communist China to interfere in our democracy, as this is exactly what the Democrats wanted. They just didn't want you to notice. So let's quickly go through Trump's speech.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, again, the smaller this world becomes, the less... the more you realize, like for years, for decades, I've known that my vote, especially in the state of California, is meaningless. I still vote because eventually there will be just too many people voting where they can't hide it. But I know it means nothing. I know it means nothing because they can easily skirt a few people. They could easily hide a few. They could easily add in a few dead who are voting to counteract my vote. But I still vote because I know it's important. But I know for a fact that it means nothing. That absolutely means nothing. I still do it, but it absolutely means nothing. And it's even worse when you realize that almost the entire nation has no say in the election. It's all about who's... like, the only reason Trump got in office the first time around is no one actually thought he would win. No one thought he'd win. And they thought Hillary Clinton was a slam dunk. It was a shocker to everybody, except, of course, the working class people. Surprisingly. Because those people who are at the elite, not at the highest orgs, don't really understand what it's like to be, well, a working class citizen. They don't. So they couldn't fathom the fact that Hillary Clinton couldn't win.
The mainstream media meltdowns, and most importantly, the subsequent investigations.
Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence, revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. Over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening.
And the Democrats can cry and deny this all they want, but it doesn't change how, one, this is exactly what they wanted the Chinese to do, and two, they also accuse China of doing.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they should just go back to 2020. I think if they're going to do it, they need to show everything. Reveal everything. Go back for decades. Even during Trump's presidency, his first term, they need to reveal everything. Full transparency is the only way forward at this point. Too many people have lost trust in the system to where if there's no trust in the system just doesn't function. Because in the end, it doesn't work because human beings are always going to be the fail point in any kind of judicial structure, anything. Humans are always the fail point. So if there's no trust, you've already lost. You've already lost, and too many people don't trust. Whether they're on whatever flag they're flying, they don't trust. Even though they claim to, some people want more authoritarian control, some people want less authoritarian control. I just want full transparency. I just want full transparency. It is ridiculous. Wins elections, the U.S., any news? Well, it should be coming up this in November, but that's for the like states, representatives, things like that. Presidential election, another 2 years, 2.5.
Overwhelmingly clear this election, I won't even get into the last one, this election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree.
But once they won, they switched to safest and securest election ever, just like their safe and effective slogan. I don't think they actually meant it, it was just to shut up the peasants. But then Trump starts calling people out.
The second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling. Covering it up from both the president and the American people is even more disturbing in light of the additional information shown.
You know, it's funny. I got a comment the other day saying that I sound like Trump. I don't think my voice sounds like him. However, I am a white, arrogant American. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Because I was like, I can't do, I have trouble when it comes to like doing people's voices. Like I can do accents, but I can't like emulate people's voices. I just have never had that talent. Never had that talent. So I was like, what could it possibly be? Why would someone comment that? I'm like, well, white, arrogant American. Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely lean into that.
That China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration in our 2020 campaign.
And for a moment I thought, do we meddle in Chinese elections, spending our tax money to manipulate their society, briefly forgetting we constantly do this overseas, causing chaos, overthrowing dictators, installing our leaders, so it wouldn't be outlandish to think they're doing the same thing to us.
That's the thing. Every nation does it. Every nation does it. It's not surprising. Every single world power tries to use pawns, and that's the problem with like third world countries. They're normally the pawns for the world powers. They're the chess pieces on the board. They're the ones that are used, like proxy wars, like fighting over proxy wars, either who's going to get this oil from this location or who's going to have access to this over here, and that will edge out China because America made a deal with South Korea, which angered China, like all that kind of stuff. That's literally what it is. It's all proxy wars. So that way the world powers don't fight with each other. They're fighting with each other through like, oh, who's going to send aid to this location and have a proxy battle with another country, proving that they're superior because they're able to aid a third world country and beat the first world country that's trying to aid the other third world country. It's stupid. It makes no sense, but that's literally how it works. That's literally how it works. Yes, every nation interferes with every other nation. There's no, because even a politician saying something about a nation influences a tiny bit. So unless nations, politicians, and everyone absolutely say nothing about a foreign nation, then there is influence. There's absolute influence.
Just shocked to learn through all the heavily redacted documents that Trump released that China
I hope your name is not
built the
in
BLM
list.
movement, beat for beats on our social media
True.
sites. So much that when you go on American Google for BLM riots, you barely see 3 instances of reality, as their propaganda is so baked into our society. Our sitting president can give us evidence that this is a Chinese psyop, but certain Americans have already decided it's more convenient to believe Chinese propaganda than actual crime stats. But now Trump is bringing up Obama.
But it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not.
See, now that already sounds way too convenient. I mean, there are always going to be paper trails. Especially it's like next to impossible. As soon as something's out in the ether, it's next to impossible to get rid of it. Next to impossible to get rid of it. So I could understand if they were like, we recovered these deleted logs that had specified this, this, and this. The fact that they just found a giant bag full of, like the smoking gun, like it's literally found there. It's like it's like a corrupt cop planting some cocaine on somebody that they want to incarcerate. They just drop the bag there. It just seems a little too convenient. A little too convenient. And of course, politicians do this. Politicians absolutely do this. They have no problem as long as they're leaning, like, again, there are officers who do the exact same thing. They believe the person's a criminal. They believe the person deserves to be in prison. So it's like, you know what? They did it. Let's just leave a bit of evidence. Does it happen all the time? No. But does it happen? Yes. Yes, it happens. Corruption is a thing. And the fact that this sadly, this day and age, That just sounds like corruption. We just happened to find this satchel filled with incriminating information. We just happened to find it. I don't know. Maybe I've gotten too jaded with the government and the fact that I don't feel like I can trust anybody, that it just seems like a little too good to be true. A little too good to be true.
Done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that was supposed to burn the bag.
As many MAGA supporters have been wanting exactly this, but I always believed if he wasn't going to jail Hillary, there was no way he was actually going to go after Obama. But this is something he's been alluding to recently.
But Clinton let him go, and Bush let him go. Everybody let him go, and Obama was the worst of all because Obama actually went to their side. Obama, because he's a well, let's not say. Let's leave that for another time.
And I still don't expect much to come from it. But again, they've admitted there's aliens and released footage of UFOs, so I don't know what to expect anymore.
Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. This reporting included precise details about methods.
Again, is there corruption in other nations as well? Absolutely. Can I believe it happened in Venezuela? Absolutely. The thing is, I'm not going to pretend and be like, no, the American system is not going to fall victim to that. The American system has fallen victim to that and will continue to fall victim to that. Every nation has fallen victim to that and will continue to fall victim to that. The fact that we allow fraud to continuously exist in the United States of America just proves that the system is completely broken. Because they're trying to protect people out of some weird bias towards like race or religion or whatever nonsense you want to add to it. Government shouldn't care what a person's ethnicity is or what their race is. It shouldn't matter. It just shouldn't matter.
To regime developed to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went.
Which goes along with the whole Maduro capture in Venezuela. We basically revealed to the world that we have auto-aiming weapons and directed energy devices called the discombobulator, so taking Maduro alive must have been a high priority. And if he gave us information on the Venezuelan election machines, it's all starting to make sense now. And even though this sounds like a crazy conspiracy theory, remember, the Democrats have also suggested exactly this.
We have to be on guard as to what they may try to do to the technology. They may try to creep into the technology and create a false count.
How do you guard against that?
That's a challenge.
As watermarked paper ballots being hand-counted isn't something that should be divisive. So whenever the Democrats in one sentence claim these machines can be manipulated and China is involved, then say Trump has no evidence that these machines are manipulated and China is involved, I don't think they're stupid. I think their followers are stupid. As Trump is using this to try to unite Americans on both sides.
This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. They identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it.
And sadly, that's exactly what they did, refusing to show their viewers what their president said. Since Trump did indeed provide receipts, declassifying documents on allegations both sides agree on, but also how lack of voter ID allowed over 250,000 illegals to register to vote. But instead, CNN refused to play Trump's claims.
But we're not going to take it live, as we've been discussing. That's because this president, sadly, has a history of misleading, and in some cases simply false statements on what we've been talking about.
As their reporters reaffirm our concerns.
He has made it his mission to cast doubt on that upcoming election, right? That's what all those things add up to. Repeatedly saying that America's elections are rigged and broken and dirty has eroded confidence in the bedrock of American democracy. It has already done damage.
We just showed you both Biden and Pelosi sharing those same concerns, with Clinton calling for those concerns, but Trump providing evidence of said concerns is somehow damaging democracy, which just proves they have a very different definition of democracy. But it wasn't worse than MSNBC's garbage take.
Is him basically saying, essentially I'm paraphrasing here, that a whole bunch of foreign entities, Iran, China, I think North Korea, have the ability, the capability of essentially a mass hack of the voter system to change over votes. Now, my understanding is that that's just completely not true. There is no assessment of that.
My understand. See, what's funny is he sounds like me. It's just like, my thinking is, how is that? Like, I'm not in that branch of government. I don't have the insight. I'm not in the FBI or whatever. I don't have all the data. So how can I? It seems, but honestly, a machine, it absolutely seems like someone can get a backdoor access. I mean, heck, there have been movies on that for centuries, for decades. Sorry, because in my head I was like, Hackers. Hackers is a pretty old movie. So it's like, no, it's not that old. It's not that old, but it's older than I am. I think that movie's older than I am. But yeah, that where everyone gets, of course, that terrible interpretation of hacking. But there have always been backdoor access. There's always backdoor access. There will always be backdoor access. There's no way of closing it entirely until you get like an AI that knows how to only allow the certified people in. But can AI get tricked? Probably. I can't say for certain because I don't know much about AI other than it's a tool. It's a tool to be used.
I'm not an expert in cybersecurity.
This imbecile is really saying Trump claims that hacks can happen. I say they can't. I'm no expert in the field, but for some reason believe me instead, as I'm certain if Pelosi was up there making the same exact claims, they'd be lapping it up because they're not a news network, they're just left-wing propaganda. But somehow ABC still one-upped their idiocy.
He said that our election system, our security is catastrophically short. It dangerously exposed to hacking. But looking through these, we have a lot more to look through. I don't see anything that comes anywhere near making that case.
This is like me reading half a recipe, then telling you, I don't know what the grocery store was thinking. Obviously, these ingredients don't make the picture on the box. Their rationality is so fucking stupid, it's honestly gotta...
That's the best kind of analogy right there. It was like, wait, how do I get from this to this? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, you have to take time to actually do it. Again, all these people who aren't professional, have no insight, are just speaking nonsense into the wind, and a lot of people will believe it because news organizations, you're supposed to trust the media. I mean, nobody does. Sadly, especially the upcoming generations, the one who are more well-informed, don't trust media no matter what it is. They sadly trust their fellow YouTuber more than they trust these $1 million organizations. And that YouTuber ends up becoming $1 million org themselves. Because they're just more trustworthy. You can just rely on them. They're going to do the actual, they're just going to state it as it is. They're going to show you as it is. Sure, they won't know all the information, but if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, you know, it's probably not a geese. It's probably a duck. Yo, Jay.
Be on purpose, as their leaders are so astronomically detached from reality, they couldn't possibly relate to anybody that could think for themselves. So their talking points have to be so incredibly idiotic as almost a filter from accidentally admitting anybody that could call them out. So if you appreciate my concise, light-order commentary...
I really like Decoy. I really like Decoy voice. He's good. He's good. Oh my gosh. The fact that all this stuff is just... It's just so... It's so sad. Again, I think like the next wave of like media consumption, like YouTube is primarily where it's at. People creating their own content. I mean, I spend most of my time on YouTube. Like even when I'm watching things with my wife, I am watching like content creators I enjoy, things that'll make me laugh, like people who are just humorous and make a joke, and I can like binge watch that stuff. Some of them do daily content, some of them do weekly content, some of them do monthly content, but it's still incredibly enjoyable. Or you could put on a Netflix series or something and you might enjoy it or you might not. You might not. And most of the time, it's more like might not. Like my wife puts something on and it's like, all right, we're going to watch this. And it's like, I don't know. My brain's just, I'm just not feeling it right now. And then we'll wait like a few months and then we'll get into it. I'm like, okay, I'm glad we waited. Because sometimes they're good. But in the end, I spent most of my time on YouTube. I do. I find it more reliable than a news organization that's going to try and sell me something. That's just how it is. That's just how I've always seen it. I don't want to be bought. I don't want to be bought. I want to be entertained, and I want to be able to see different perspectives. And that's like the benefit of being on YouTube, is like you could see different perspectives. You can have different people that have different things. Like I don't always agree with everything I watch here, and even more so when I'm watching on my own. Like I don't agree with everything. Like there have been some content creators where I'm watching with my wife, and I'm just like, okay, this person's refusing to see the other perspective. This person's refusing to see this. No, there's a different perspective as to going at it like this. And it's just like, dude, this could be something I could completely react to. Because I probably annoy my wife sometimes when we're watching things, and then I just go off on a tangent. Because you guys know me, I can talk on like a 5-minute video for like 20 minutes. I can add 20 minutes just talking, adding nonsense to it because I'm an absolute retard. I just lean into it. Just lean into it. But yeah, I mean, that's how like this was 11 minutes and I went for like 20 minutes. So it's a good balance. And I sped it up. I had to speed it up because my mouse was like, I need to make it go quicker. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't trust the mainstream media. And that's rather sad. That's rather sad, where we've gotten to a point where a lot of people just don't trust the main major outlets. They prefer it filtered through someone that they can not so much trust, but someone who can make it more palatable and more entertaining. They like a decoy voice. The news articles were there, and then he has more like, you know what? I was thinking the exact same thing when the person said it. I'm like, I could easily speculate on a ton of stuff. It doesn't mean I'm right, because guess what? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know entirely. Let the professionals kind of decide that stuff. Whether you believe it or not is a completely different story. Just like, oh, they found a satchel with all the information. That just seems too good to be true. It seems too good to be true. So do I believe it? Probably not. Probably not. Do I believe that the government is that stupid to not actually delete all their incriminating information? Yes, I believe the government is that stupid not to. But at the same time, it still seems too good to be true. Too good to be true.
You guys see the video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait, where's that?